Today we're in the presence of rodeo royalty. I'm pleased to virtually welcome Miss Rodeo America Jordan Tierney. Jordan, thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Rebel. Thank you so much for having me.
You were crowned this December at the Miss Rodeo America pageant. Talk about your time in Las Vegas and bringing home the title.
Yeah, so we have our competition in Las Vegas about the first week of December, and it is an 8-day contest. And, it's very grueling, but it's so rewarding. And not just with the possibility coming out with the title, but the friendships, because it's kind of your last hurrah you get with all of your state queens that you have. And it just really is a way to round out your year and round out the time you spent as whatever state title holder you were beforehand. And for me, I was Miss Rodeo South Dakota. And so we went to the contest, and, it's similar to that of many other pageants that you hear about. We have speeches, we have interviews, we have a fashion show. So there's a lot of different aspects to it, but something that's pretty unique is that everyone always asks us if we have a talent that we have to do. And the answer is no, we don't have to do a talent, but we do have horsemanship. So we have, a horsemanship portion to this. And, our days are long, and we'll start our mornings most days at like 4:30 in the morning, and we don't get done until like 11 o'clock at night during the pageant. So it is a very long contest, but very worth it.
That's awesome. So you are arguably in the midst of the most unique reign that any Miss Rodeo America has ever experienced. And last week, Miss Rodeo America Inc. announced that you will not only be Miss Rodeo America 2020, but you will be continuing your reign into 2021. Talk about that decision and your extended reign.
Yeah. So, with everything going on, I've just been trying to stay positive and keep my perspective so that I can be the best title holder I can during this time. But I do have to say, every single time I saw an event cancel, my heart sunk a little bit, especially when they were events that I was, scheduled to go to and to attend. And it really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And so it just felt like sometimes I was like, man, I'm not going to be able to do that, but there's going to be something better. I'm going to have the opportunity to maybe go somewhere else that Miss Rodeo America hadn't. But when I started seeing other organizations extending the girls' reigns, I got a feeling that might trickle down to ours, and that would be a possibility. At least I was hoping so. And but I do want to say I was very content with either decision that they made, because I had the opportunity to be Miss Rodeo South Dakota last year, and I had one of the most incredible years. I would do it 10 times over. And at the beginning of my year for the 2020 reign of Miss Rodeo America, I went very, very hard for about 2.5 months. I left my house January 8th, and I did not come back home until the end of March. So I got to have a little bit of that experience that most Miss Rodeo Americas have. And so I did not feel gypped in any way in this whole COVID, thing. It was just going to be part of my story. It was going to be, I'm the most well-rested Miss Rodeo America in history. So, but the fact that I do get another year, I am incredibly grateful to my organization for the leadership within my organization making that decision, because I'm very excited to reign into 2021.
So with few rodeos to attend right now, what have you been up to, and how have you been spreading the word about the sport?
Yeah, so I've just I've been back at home on my family's ranch, on my parents' ranch here in the southwest corner of South Dakota where I live, and I've just been immersed into the Western way of life, which is what I'm an advocate for, the sport of rodeo, the Western way of life, and I've just been living it daily, and I've been trying to just share my experiences back at home. We're calving, I'm getting to rope again, which I've kind of put my roping on the back burner for the last couple of years, getting ready for this title. And so, I've been at home. I've gotten to start heading again. I've gotten to breakaway rope. I've gotten to ride some young horses, and, just live, eat, breathe, and sleep it every single day. And so I'm just trying to share my personal experiences as a way to keep promoting it.
That's awesome. So Miss Rodeo America serves as a role model to many. What is the most impactful part of being Miss Rodeo America for you?
Oh man, the most impactful part is when you get to meet people from different ways of life, different backgrounds, and you can come to a common meeting or, have that experience of a rodeo. That was my favorite part about getting to go to rodeos and getting to meet the fans when, my obligations were done, like in the arena, and I could go up and I could visit with fans and, talk to them about rodeo and like where it comes from. It comes from our ranching backgrounds, cowboys and cowgirls out on the range when they had to doctor animals, that's how a lot of our roping events got started. And when cowboys had to have horses to ride to be able to go do those things, that's how some of our rough stock got started. So it's sharing that history and that heritage and making that connection, at rodeos, at schools, at different events, whatever it is, just having those meaningful moments of impact.
That's incredible. You are definitely not a stranger to rodeo, with your dad being an accomplished world champion and your mom a decorated cowgirl as well, even being Miss Rodeo South Dakota. How have they influenced the person that you are today?
Oh yeah, they are major influences in my life. They've taught me everything. They've given me a foundation of not just rodeo, but of my faith and in times, especially right now in trying times, holding on to that and knowing that you serve a big God and that that anything is possible and to keep the faith. And so that's what they've shown me so much, and that I'm so grateful for the foundation of that and their work ethic. I've never seen two people work harder than my mom and dad. And they've worked for everything they've ever gotten in life, and I've seen their example, and they have parented us in a way of leading as examples.
So your brothers are PRCA athletes. How does it feel to be the first Tierney to step out onto the dirt at the Thomas and Mack?
Yeah, I didn't even really realize that I beat them until I was at a press conference after the pageant, and someone, I was up on stage and someone asked me a question. They were like, "You're the first one." And I was like, "Oh, I am." You make sure you tell them that. But, my brothers, they are incredible cowboys. And I have no doubt that my brother, Paul David, he will be at the Thomas and Mack one day competing in the heading. But my oldest brother, he's a steer roper, so they have their finals held at a different facility, of course. But he has made it there about 7 times now, so he's very accomplished. And but I don't take it for granted. But I did get a little street cred, I think, with my brothers.
So what is your favorite piece of advice that you've been given over the years, and maybe what's a piece of advice that you would give your younger self?
Oh man, so many pieces of advice, that's for sure. Let's see here. My dad, he's a huge advocate for us kids. I remember him preaching to us when we were little about setting goals, about writing them down, putting them somewhere where you can see them every single day, and working towards them. And he never told us they had to be they call them tangible goals or something, like dream big. He always, he never wanted us to put a limit on that. And so when preparing for the Miss Rodeo America pageant, that was my goal. I put it on my mirror where I could see it every single day. And it was, Miss Rodeo America 2020, Jordan Tierney. And I saw it every single day I woke up, so that is some advice that I've done it with more than just this in my life, but setting goals and writing them down where you can see them, because there's something about putting pen to paper and making it realistic and seeing it. Some advice that I'd give to my younger self, man, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve when you stop putting limits on yourself. That's for sure. Don't put limits on yourself. Don't think you have to fit into a box, because if you would have told, 15-year-old Jordan that she was going to be Miss Rodeo America one day, she probably would have laughed at you. So that's my advice to her.
So is there anything that we haven't touched on so far that you'd like to share, either something you're looking forward to about your time ahead, or anything about rodeo in general?
Well, let's see here. Anything we haven't touched on. I am going forward, and of course, you know, I love the Nebraska Land Days Rodeo, and I am very much looking forward to that. Next year in 2021, I'll get to attend that. So I was a little heartbroken when I saw that I wasn't going to be attending that. But, you know, Rebel, I got to meet you through rodeo queening, and through that last year when I was Miss Rodeo South Dakota, I got to attend that rodeo. And so the fact that we made that connection, and then here we are a year later, you know, having this conversation on this radio, you know, and we're getting to spread the news about rodeo that some people might not, you know, necessarily get to see, and we're doing it virtually. You know, life changes so quickly, and being adaptable and getting to make those connections and keep using them to further what you're passionate about is really what it's all about. So thank you so much for having me. I mean, this has been so fun. So I've just loved it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, once again, that was Jordan Tierney, Miss Rodeo America 2020 and 2021. Jordan, congratulations on a job well done, and we certainly look forward to watching you in the time to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rebel.